Hey everyone, welcome to or back to the channel. My name is Hunter Hauk, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to budget for your new pet reptile or amphibian. Now, this is a super important topic that I feel unfortunately doesn't get talked about enough. Reptiles are often advertised and sold to you as a cheap, inexpensive pet that's an alternative to a dog or a cat that you won't have to spend much time or money on, but that is absolutely not the case. Reptiles can be pretty expensive, and so in today's video, I want to show you an awesome online tool that I made to help you budget for your new pet reptile. It's free, anyone can access it from anywhere in the world, and I'm very excited to share it with you. Okay, so I'm gonna try to look at you, but it's a little difficult because my MacBook is down here in my lap. But first, what you're gonna wanna do is go to hunterhauk.com. And then in the top right corner, click Reptile Budgeting Tool. Super easy. And then it says, welcome to the Interactive Reptile Budgeting Tool. This tool was made by me, a teenage reptile keeper, to help you budget for a new reptile. You obviously know that because you're watching this video. So if you want to support, you can subscribe on YouTube. And here it says the tutorial video is currently being created. Obviously, when you're watching this and you go to the tool, a video will already be made, so it'll be linked there instead. If you're doing this on a mobile device, just click on the click here to view it in a separate tab, and that makes it a little easier for you to access, and then come back to read the resources at the bottom of the page, but I would recommend doing it on a computer if that's an option for you. So basically we're going to be covering startup costs, which are the costs that you need to factor in before you get your first reptile, monthly recurring costs, which are costs that you have to pay for every single month, once yearly costs, which are things that you buy once per year, believe it or not. And then, of course, yeah, I guess that's it. The total. So it'll calculate them all, and then you'll have your total startup costs, your total monthly costs, the total once yearly costs, your total first year costs. So in the first year of owning this reptile, how much will it cost you? And then the total subsequent yearly costs. So these are just the monthly costs times 12, because the subsequent years, your second year and on, you won't have to buy the startup costs and factor those in. So we're going to be using a leopard gecko as an example. So the animal purchase price or adoption fee, we're just going to say you paid $50 to adopt this leopard gecko. The lighting, we're going to give our leopard gecko an Arcadia Shade Dweller, for example. It's like, we'll say $40 for lighting. Heating, let's see here. We're going to use overhead heat because it best replicates the sun. And actually we're going to use a deep heat projector and a thermostat, so we're just going to say $50 as an example. That's probably not accurate. Substrate, we're going to use Josh's Frog's Desert Biobedding as the substrate for this leopard gecko. Again, just an example. And we're going to say the first time you buy this, the bag is going to be, I don't know, $30. Accessories, hides and stuff, we want at least 3 hides, and those are usually about $10. So $30 plus, say, $5 for fake plants. $35 is how much the accessories are going to run you. Other expenses, we need a bottle of Reptisafe water dechlorinator, so that's another $5. And the enclosure itself, that's a big cost and an important one. We're going to do an Exoterra, and we're going to say that's $125. So before you get the leopard gecko, it's going to cost you $335. Monthly recurring costs, and again, these are costs that you'll have to spend money on every single month. The food, let's say one leopard gecko, we'll just say $10 in food. Substrate, since we used a bioactive substrate, we're going to say that it's only a couple bucks because you're just going to have to spot clean and replace a little bit, so we're just going to say like $3 a month. Cleaning supplies, those you can buy in bulk and only spend a little bit on each month. So we're going to say a bottle lasts us a year. We're going to put it at $3 a month as well. Water dechlorinator, we already purchased the big bottle and the other expenses, so we don't need to buy new every month. And other monthly expenses, I always like to factor in $5 a month just to be safe. So $21, or total per year, $252. Okay, so once yearly costs. These are things that you're only gonna really have to purchase every year. So we're gonna say new enrichment items. We're gonna get all new hides for this leopard gecko. We're gonna go all out, so $30. Replacement UVB bulbs. The Shade Dweller on Pangea Reptile are $19, I think, for the replacement bulb. Replacement heat bulbs. Let's see here. I think a DP projector, just the bulb itself, is, we'll just say, another $20. And other ones yearly costs, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but you'll want to spend more time factoring that in. So total once yearly costs $69. Totals, you're done. Below are some helpful numbers to estimate how much your new pet is going to cost. And remember that this does not include veterinary expenses, electricity, anything like that, because that you can't really calculate simply in an online tool. But if you're just having one leopard gecko, for example, the electricity isn't even really something that's going to make a dent, but vet bills certainly can. So I would recommend budgeting for that, but we'll talk more about that here at the end of the video. Total startup costs before you get the leopard gecko, $335. Total monthly costs, every month you can expect to spend $21. Total once yearly costs, every year at the end of the year, or 12 months from when you got your leopard gecko, if you got it in a different month, $69. Total first year costs, $629. So the first year, it is going to be really expensive. I know everyone's like, almost $1,000 for a leopard gecko. Yeah, this is why they shouldn't really be advertised as cheap animals. And then total subsequent yearly costs, $321 per year. So that means your once yearly costs plus your monthly costs, how much that's going to cost you every year, $321, which that's pretty reasonable because, again, $21 a month plus 1 month, you'll also have to spend $69 on the once yearly costs, or you can spread that out and buy them across different months. So it's a lot of money, but you can divide it up and make it less expensive. So that's it. I would really recommend, if you want to just highlight this, or actually I would highlight this whole thing, Control P, and then you can print it, and if you want you can only print page 3, but yeah, or if you're doing this on a phone, you can screenshot it. That's another easy way to save it. That way you can refer back to it, because once you reload the page or leave the page and come back, you'll have to re-type in all of this information, unfortunately. In the future, I'm working on trying to find a way to update it so that you can save it, but yeah, that doesn't seem to be working right now. So let's talk about additional information here down at the bottom. Veterinary expenses are really important to factor in. Remember that because they vary so much, your leopard gecko might get sick or hurt, and of course just leopard gecko is an example, and they might need surgery or something, or they might not need to go to the vet at all that year, so those costs aren't factored into the budgeting tool. I would recommend getting a high yield savings account and just putting some money in there every single month so that you're prepared. What are some frequent other expenses? What do you put in, like this type of box right here? Some frequent ones that people, when I was consulting with people about this tool, enclosure upgrades. For example, if you get a smaller enclosure for a juvenile, you might have to upgrade when they're an adult. There's also insurance, electricity, water, that type of thing. Those can't easily be calculated or have a category of their own, so those are other expenses. Supplements, like your calcium powder, your multivitamins, that type of thing, those are considered other, or you can factor them into the food section. Scale, so that you can weigh your reptile and do health checks. And a pet sitter if you need to go on a trip. If you have just one leopard gecko, it's not going to be that expensive, but if you're like me and have like 10 to 12 reptiles at a time, depending on how many fosters I have, that's going to be quite a bit more expensive. And then of course, the vet care, I just have a button here that links to the Association of Reptile and Amphibian Veterinarians website so that you can easily find a reptile vet. You just put in your address and then the radius, and it'll show you reptile vets near you. And of course, this is just for general planning purposes. and it's up to you to do the math if there's something else that you need to budget for. And if there's an issue or a question that you have, click here and it'll let you email me. Alright, that is my interactive reptile budgeting tool and how to budget for a new reptile. Now, of course, if you already have the reptile and you just want to budget for it, just in the startup expenses, if you already have everything, put $0 and then it will calculate it correctly for you. If you appreciate this tool, I would really ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this video and share it with someone else who you think might find it helpful. Leave a comment down below, tell me how much you spend on your reptiles every year because I'm super interested in knowing. I have QuickBooks since I have a small business with my reptiles where I make these videos, and they are really expensive animals, especially when you have quite a few of them, and at the end of the year when I look at my QuickBooks, it's like, oh boy, those are expensive animals. But it's so worth it. They bring so much joy to your life, and I really, really enjoy them. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm really close to 8,000 subscribers, so if you want to help me get there, I would really appreciate it. I will see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching, and goodbye.